Finally, I've been trying to log in for a while, and I want to talk about real food, about eating organic food without pesticides and chemicals and fillers and binders and excipients and additives, irradiated ingredients, flavorings, bioengineered ingredients, artificial colors, artificial ingredients, microparticles to plastic, glyphosate, Roundup, pesticides, herbicides. Our foods are so polluted with chemicals that our bodies are not identifying our food as food anymore because it's actually not food. Our bodies are trying to digest microparticles to plastic. Guess how much plastic the average American is eating on an every week basis, on a weekly basis? Well, the average person is eating 5 milligrams of plastic every single week. So this month, let's say, how many weeks are in this month? I mean, today's the last day of the month. So September had 4.5 weeks. That means that this month, the average person has ingested what's equivalent to 4.5 credit cards amount of plastic. And that's how much toxic load we are putting into our body every single month, to the point that our bodies get so taxed out, so stressed out, because it's trying to break down the artificial ingredients, the plastic, the chemicals, the pesticides, the binders, the fillers, the excipients, all this toxic load, that our bodies get to the point where they can't function anymore and they start to break. And we experience the breaking in the form of disease, in the form of aging, in the form of aches and pains, in the form of bloating, inflammation, chronic fatigue, autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's, Lyme's, Crohn's, diabetics, PCOS, rheumatoid arthritis, ulcerative colitis. I mean, the list, guys, are so long because our bodies doesn't have the capability to detoxify us anymore. You know, when we're young, our bodies have the capability to detoxify us fast. But as we start to age, our detoxifying pathways slow down. So our bodies doesn't have the capability to cleanse and detoxify the toxic load that is still the same, if not getting worse. Because all of our foods are owned by corporate America, by companies that don't care about your health and they only care about profit. And this is why now more than ever it's extremely important that we support the farmers. Because if we don't support the farmers, we're going to support the pharmacy. I guarantee you. And good food is cheaper than medicine. I can also guarantee you that. And the more that you start seeing food as a source of medicine for your body, you're going to start to transform. And my name is Teasdale. I typically do these calls on Tuesdays for Transformation Tuesday at 9 a.m. in the morning, but I'm flying to Florida because we're doing our event with Human Garage in Florida this Sunday. So if you haven't gotten your tickets and you are in Florida, in the Miami area, we're going to be there for our event with the whole team. And so tomorrow I'm going to be in the air. I'm going to be in the aircraft with Raw, and we're going to meet the team. And I'm not going to be able to do this call on my typically time at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. So you got me right now. And if you do have any questions, I would love for you to share or share your experience. Like, how did you feel when you transition from eating conventional foods to eating organic foods? Because there's a very big difference between the two. And I remember when the pandemic started, I went to the grocery store and people were making these long lines and they were buying all kinds of food and rice and toilet paper, right? And they were buying produce and chicken and all these foods. But I was observing that people weren't buying the organic. They were buying the conventional. And that's when I was like, wow, we really got it wrong, because the conventional foods are actually making us sicker. And I understand that they're more expensive, because buying a $3 avocado versus buying a 25-cent avocado, it's a big difference for a lot of people. And I understand that, but there's the the Dirty Dozen. And if you guys don't know about the Dirty Dozen, look it up in the Clean 15. So when I couldn't afford organic foods because they were more expensive, I always look at that list and I say, what can I buy that is not organic, but is still clean from pesticides and herbicides and all that stuff that's polluting the food? I want to throw some statistics out there. Did you guys know that 50 years ago, 1 cup of spinach had 1,200 milligrams of iron? But today, a cup of spinach has way less than that. As a matter of fact, a cup of spinach today only has 2 milligrams of iron. And today, the average person, you and me, everybody, we would have to eat 600 cups of spinach, okay, to have that nutritional value that is designed by Mother Nature. The truth is that our foods are only as nutritious as the soils that they are grown on, okay? And if our foods are grown on soils that are depleted, soils that have no nutrients because of the heavy amount of chemicals that's being sprayed in chemical agriculture, that is depleting the soils. And when the soils are depleted, so is our body. Okay, in traditional Chinese medicine, we say that our gut is linked to the earth element. And when we are destroying the soil, the earth, we are destroying our gut microbiome. And a couple of Tuesdays ago, I brought in experts in the gut health and the gut microbiome. We had a conversation with Dr. Jerry. If you haven't watched that live, go back and watch it, because we talk about the gut microbiome. It's extremely important that all of us get familiar with the biome in our body, because we have trillions of microorganisms living in our gut. As a matter of fact, we have more gut bacteria than we have human cells. So we have to really nourish our gut bacteria. And the best way to nourish our gut bacteria is with highly nutritious foods, and mainly fiber. But a lot of us are not eating enough fiber, and the fiber that we're eating is completely covered with pesticides and herbicides, and specifically glyphosate. So a lot of us are eating fiber, we're eating the fruits, we're eating the vegetables, but we're not getting any better. And the reason for that is because those fruits and vegetables have been sprayed. And when we eat, let's say, apples, and those apples have this little layer of wax around them. Have you guys seen those apples that have wax on them? Well, that it's not normal in nature. That it's human intervention with our food. And glyphosate, you cannot wash it off and you cannot cook it off. It's in all the foods that we eat. It's in 90% of our foods, 80% of wine and beer. Glyphosate is in the air that we breathe, especially if you live in the city. It's sprayed in most parks in the United States. Most public parks are spraying with Roundup and pesticides and weed killer. And that stuff glues to the stomach lining. Imagine your stomach has a lining, and this lining has all these little hairs, right? And these little hairs are responsible for absorbing the nutrients from the foods that you eat. This is called the villi in our gut lining. When you're eating that apple, this villi is responsible for absorbing the nutrients of the apple. But if you are eating conventional apples, which most of us have, I have, literally every single human being in the United States have eaten and been exposed to glyphosate. What happens with our villi is these little hairs, instead of absorbing the nutrients, like, oh, vitamin A, vitamin C, oh, they're so happy, and they're bringing all the nutrition down to the stomach lining. Then it goes to our blood, intestines, or blood, or lymphatic. What happens is that these little hairs get glued to each other, okay? Because that's what glyphosate does. It glues the gut lining. So when we're eating an apple, the gut lining cannot absorb because it's glued. So nutrition goes in and it goes out. Okay, so a lot of us are not absorbing the nutrients. And we're taking all the supplements, we're eating organic, we're doing the right things, but we're not getting better because our gut is still compromised. Once the gut villi is all glued to each other, first, nutrient is coming in and it's coming out. Nothing's really staying. And second, the gut is so smart. The body has its own intelligence. So what it does is that it tries to open up, right? It tries to open up to let the nutrients come in. And when the gut lining starts to open up, it starts to create what we call leaky gut. Okay, because it starts to create little pockets in the gut lining. And now guess what's leaking through those little pockets in our gut? All kinds of things. Bacteria, parasites, mold, anything that you eat will have some sort of pathogen. However, our body can fight the pathogens if the body has an immunity. But our immunity is so suppressed because our gut is so compromised and our gut bacteria is so diminished with antibiotics, with toxins, with chemicals, with glyphosate, with pesticides, with engineering ingredients, with artificial colors. Our bacteria is so compromised that it can't do what it is designed to do. Hippocrates says the best doctors are inside of us. And I like to mention that all the time because the best doctors is our intestines. It is our gut lining. It's our heart. It's our liver. It's our intestines. It's our lungs. It's our detoxifying pathways. It's our lymphatic. Our body is literally keeping us alive. And those are the doctors that we need to take a look at. Because nobody knows you better than your own body. But your body cannot do what it's designed to do if you're giving it foods that are not supporting it and thoughts that are not supporting it, right? Like the body keeps the score. Your body will remember every single thought that you had in your life because our memory, it's not in here. Our memory is in every single cell of our body. So your body will remember. But the body also takes a tool because when you are eating these chemicals, when you are eating the microparticles of plastic, when you are drinking from plastic bottles, when you are wrapping your food in saran wrap, all those microparticles will get through your body and they will start clogging your body. It will stop the energy from flowing. One of my friends, she's a doctor, she told me that the heart surgeon are clogged with plastic. It used to be cholesterol, right? Now our arteries are actually being clogged with plastic. It's no longer fat, it's plastic. And that is really sad because babies are being born with microparticles of plastic in the umbilical cord. And the quality of the foods that you eat will determine the quality of life that you have. So if you want to start living healthier, full of joy, and I'm sure all of you guys do because all of you guys are part of our Human Garage community. And we're all here to heal together because we heal in community and we heal by sharing other people's voices and other people's gifts. That's why it's very important that you share what you learn here at Human Garage with our community because your voice could be somebody else's medicine. People are suffering in silence. People are not going outside and saying, I've been constipated. I've been having diarrhea for a year. You know, I wake up 5 times every single night to go pee. Like people are not promoting and sharing those things, but everyone is experiencing them. And I see Melissa Ann Moody, you sent me a request. I'm going to approve. I'd love to hear how you are raising your kids. And if any of you guys want to come live and have a conversation with me and share how you implemented organic foods into your life, I love to know. And I'm sure everyone else, especially if you have children, because children are so picky eaters. And a lot of our kids are born with toxins, with glyphosate. Glyphosate gets transferred to the baby through the placenta. So a lot of our kids are born with heavy metals in their bodies. Isn't that so sad? But what you're eating, your baby's eating. The clothes that you're wearing is also going through your skin. Anything that you put on your body, you put in your body. So the lotion that you're putting on your skin, it's actually, you're putting it on in your heart. You're putting it on in your liver. That lotion is going to every single organ of your body, not just your skin. Our skin is like a sponge. Our skin is always absorbing everything. So it's our aura, right? So we're picking up people's thoughts. We're picking up toxins from the air. We're picking up the toxin from our skin through our laundry detergent. And it's really important that you start really more aware of what is it that you are feeding yourself with. From the friendships that you have, because we absorb other people's thoughts. We absorb other people's toxic communication. And it's not only toxins from food, but it's also toxins from your friends, toxins from your family, toxins from your circle. And if you want to have a deep transformation in your life, you have to become aware. And I talk about this a lot on my social media. Awareness is the first step of transformation. You can't change something that you don't know you want to change. But if you start becoming aware, you know what? I have acne. I don't feel good. I'm not sleeping through the night. I'm sleeping, but when I'm waking up, I'm exhausted. So you're not technically resting and getting into deep REM sleep. So if you have that awareness, oh, you know what? I wake up in the middle of the night and I have to pee like 4 times. I wake up at 2, I wake up at 3, I wake up at 5, and then I can't fall asleep. Well, that is your body trying to tell you a message. But if you ignore your body speaking to you and telling you that acid reflux isn't supposed to be there. You're not supposed to experience acid reflux in the morning, at night. If you are experiencing acid reflux, something's wrong with your gut biome. Most likely you're nutrient deficient from selenium and other minerals that are essential to create hydrochloric acid. But if you're not having high levels of hydrochloric acid, then you're also experiencing other things like bloating, like gas, because your body doesn't have enough digestive enzymes to digest the foods. And those digestive enzymes and the hydrochloric acid is actually killing the pathogens from our food. Maybe there's mold in the strawberries. I accidentally ate a yogurt that had mold. I was eating it, and when I looked down at the container, it had mold. And I wanted to throw up, and I washed my mouth with water, and I'm like, oh my God, I ate mold. And I was freaking out. But your body has an immunity. And if you have high and healthy levels of hydrochloric acid, you don't have to worry, because your gut is super acidic. Your gut is so acidic that it can destroy any mold, any parasite, any pathogen that goes through your gut. But if you don't have high levels of or healthy levels of hydrochloric acid, that mold is going to go right through your lymphatic. And then you're going to have problems with memory fog, with dementia. You're going to have problems recovering. You're going to have maybe joint pain, knee pain, back pain, neck pain, and you're never going to get better, because everything starts with our gut. There's actually a gut-brain axis. The gut and the brain were in the same DNA strand when you were conceived. So here's the gut and here's the brain. They work together, and then they both unroll. And this is the gut and this is the brain. So they were like this together. Let me see if you guys can see it. And then it unrolls, and then here's the brain, here's the gut, and they're still connected, okay? This connection is called the vagus nerve. This is why it's been medically proven that the foods that you eat are directly related to the thoughts that you have. Because if there's a pathogen in the gut immediately has these neurotransmitters and that send a signal to the brain through the vagus nerve. And this is instant. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube that you can watch about this. The gut immediately sends a message to the brain, and it says, pathogen, alert, alert, alert. And it's trying to tell the brain that something's wrong. And in that moment, you might get in a fight. In that moment, you might drop something. In that moment, something happens. You know, everything happens for a reason. And that's because the gut is sending that message to the brain that something's wrong. And in the body right now, it's in this fight or flight. And it's like, oh my God, we have to destroy this parasite. We have to destroy this mold. and your whole body is working overtime. That's why you're sleeping, but you're not resting, because your body's like active 24/7 trying to keep you alive. And then you never get to rest. And that is very traumatic to the body. So if we want to heal the trauma, you have to start by looking at what is it that you're putting into your mind and what is it that you're putting into your mouth. Because everything is going to be controlling this body suit that we have. And I know you guys have some questions. Hi, can women get more yeast infections, especially as they are getting older from all this stuff? Scary, this plastic, like the snacks and processed fruits included in nowadays flowers. Yes, if you're experiencing a lot of yeast infections, I'm a woman, okay? I used to experience a lot of yeast infections, and I was like, this is so embarrassing. Yeast infections are not nice, okay? It itches, it's horrible, guys. If you're watching this, you're blessed that you don't have to be a woman and experience with yeast infections. But yeast infections pretty much is your body being overtaxed with toxins, with inflammation, low levels of hydrochloric acid, low levels of white blood cells, low levels of many things, because the body is trying to keep you alive. And I used to experience the yeast infections when I didn't eat so healthy, when I wasn't detoxifying. And the moment that I started to detoxify, guess what happened? My yeast infections went away. And I never had to experience that. I used to get yeast infection after taking antibiotics. But guess what? Antibiotics destroys your gut bacteria. It destroys the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. But the good bacteria is what's keeping you healthy. It's your immune system. The gut bacteria is what's creating this wild, incredible ecosystem inside of your body. And there's a saying, the greener you are inside, the cleaner you are inside. So the greener is your body, the cleaner your body's going to be. So if you are experiencing a lot of yeast infections, please take a look at your food. Start eating organic, start eating very alkaline foods. Load on green leafy vegetables. Green leafy vegetables have a lot of chlorophyll. Specifically, wheatgrass is 70% chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what helps the plant create its energy and supports the photosynthesis. Chlorophyll is the green pigment. And if you guys didn't know, chlorophyll, which is what makes the plants green, and human blood, which is red, is hemoglobin. They're almost identically the same in structure. The only difference with chlorophyll is that it's green because it has magnesium, and hemoglobin, which is human red blood cells, have iron. That's why our blood is red. But if our blood, instead of having iron, would have magnesium, we would have green blood like the plants. Isn't that fascinating how we are so identical as nature? We are an extension of nature. And the more disconnected that we are from nature, the more disconnected that you are from your own self. The more disconnected you are to the soils, the more disconnected you are from your gut brain and from the high vibrational thoughts, because our thoughts get originated in your gut. That's why we have gut instinct. We have botanical senses. My dog knows the difference between food, medicine, and poison. I don't have to tell my dog, hey, Solar, don't go eat that poison. He already knows it's poison. So how do animals can tell the distinction between medicine, food, and poison? And us as adults, as human beings that are highly intelligent, cannot. Because we're eating McDonald's, we're eating burgers, we're eating pesticides, herbicides, binders, fillers, excipients, additives, synthetic ingredients, bioengineered ingredients, irradiated ingredients. We're eating a credit card amount of plastic per week. How come we don't have that botanical sense to distinguish with, like, no, that is poison. I'm not going to put that into my body because this is making me sicker. It's putting me in dis-ease. You're not at ease anymore with who you are. And the more dis-ease that you are from yourself, the sicker that you are. And dis-ease is pretty much oxidation, high levels of stress. Our bodies start to oxidize when they have high levels of stress. And it could be stress from your childhood trauma. It could also be stress from eating all these chemicals. Melissa, you sent me a request. I'm going to approve you because I love to talk. And if any of you guys want to come live with me and ask me questions or share your takeaways or anything that you'll learn, send me a request. You can click on the camera down below and you can join me. And I am so passionate about this because my whole life, I've been living from a place where I felt victimized. I felt anxious. I felt depressed. And I started doing the work, and I changed my diet because I believe that we lead with our gut. If we don't have intuition, if we don't have gut feelings, we can't make the highest vibrational decisions for our life. Our gut feeling is actually a real thing. It's like the botanical senses that our dogs have, that we have. And all of these things that are happening today with our government, with our food, with corporations, with our low vibration thoughts, most of us are experiencing depression and anxiety, panic attacks. It's so normalized, but it's not your fault that you're feeling that way. It's not your fault that you're anxious and depressed. Because depression, Gary talks about, is your intestines being in pressure, in inflammation. Depression happens when there's low serotonin, there's low dopamine. There isn't healthy hormones in your body. And over 80% of your serotonin, which is your happy hormone, gets made in the gut. 50% of your dopamine, which is your feel-good hormone, gets made in the gut. 80% of our immune system gets made in your gut. Your thoughts get made in the gut. Your intuition starts in the gut. Everything starts in your gut. Your good night of sleep starts in the gut. You feeling refreshing and having bowel movement, they start in the gut. Your hair, your hair growth, your nail, your skin, everything starts in the gut. Our gut brain, in my opinion, should be considered the first brain. Because if we were to make decisions with our gut, we would have a happier world. And I want to invite you guys to start talking to your gut. Whenever you're going to ask a decision, so your gut doesn't talk with words, okay? Your gut talks with vibration. So if you want to talk to your gut, so I'm going to make an example, okay? Let's say you guys ask me, am I excited to fly to Miami to be part of the Human Garage event this weekend? So let's say you ask me that question. I will say, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Can you guys feel the excitement? Can you guys feel my gut saying, mm-hmm, 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 right? That is the language of your gut. You speak through vibration with your gut. If you tell me, are you ready to fly to Europe right now? Mm-mm. 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 That's a no. Can you guys hear the no? Your gut is never going to lie to you. Your head will, because your head is a servant of yours. And your head is going to find reasons to validate what the head is saying. But your gut is not going to find reasons. Your gut's going to say the truth. If you ask me if one day I would like to run a marathon, I will say, I don't know. Did you guys get that? Could you hear how my gut was like, I don't know yet? So if you want to have an authentic, real answer by somebody in your life, tell them to answer you with their gut. It's never failed. It has never failed. They should be using this in court because the gut never lies. The gut never lies. Yes, gut don't lie. I love that, Victoria. Guts don't lie, but the brain does lie. So isn't that fascinating? I find this extremely fascinating because according to human design, you know, most of us are generators, and generate with their gut. So it's an easy way to get a decision and get an answer by anybody in your life if you start asking them questions and tell them, you know what, I don't want you to answer me with words. I want you to answer me with your gut. And then you listen, and they're going to say, how do you answer with your gut? And you say, give me a vibration. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That is the best kind of communication. That's why animals don't speak, yet they all know everything. They know when you want to take them on a walk. Your dogs know behavior. They learn to read everything. They're more connected because their gut brain is more connected. But our gut brain is so destroyed with all the chemicals, with the pesticides, with the herbicides, with the plastic, the chemicals, that you have no botanical sense. You have no intuition. Your gut brain is turned off. And it's time that all of us turn on our brain, our gut brain. Because when you start leading with your gut brain, you are going to tap into infinite abundance and potential, and you mainly are going to tap to joy. Because that's ultimately what all of us want. We all want joy. We all want to feel happiness, feel alive, feel full of vitality. And when you start speaking with vitality, with joy, with love, everyone's going to listen to you. Because people love to hear people that are alive. And once I learned that, I was like, oh my God, I've been talking like a dead person. I'm not speaking my truth. I'm not opening up my chest. I'm not speaking from my heart. I'm speaking from my throat. And when I'm going like this and I try to speak, guess what's happening with our gut? And guess what's happening with our heart? We're compressing, we're closing. And the gut can't speak and the heart can't speak. There's no communication. The vagus nerve, it's like worked like this, right? Make that connection in alignment. Open your chest. Speak your truth. Speak with aliveness. And when you are straight, you're in your power because you're in alignment. And it's just so beautiful to see when people are in alignment and they're speaking from their heart and they're speaking from their gut. And that's my message for you guys today. Thank you so much for being here. I do this call every single Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Every single Tuesday, Transformation Tuesday. I'll give you tools and new awarenesses so you can start to transform in whatever context of your life. You can transform your finances, you can transform your health, you can transform your mindset, you can transform your relationships, you can transform anything, but you gotta have that awareness. And sometimes we have to look outside the box because you can't tell a fish to notice the water. Like, that is actually like a joke. You can't tell a fish to notice the water because it lives in that paradigm. It lives in that container. You cannot tell a human being to notice the environment where their mind is at. Just like we can't tell a fish, you know, to notice the water. But a fish can eventually notice the water if you take it out of the water. If you take a fish out of the water, it's going to say, I can't breathe. I'm going to die. I need my addiction. I need my paradigm. And when you drop a fish back in the water, now it feels alive again. And now it's like, okay, what was that? What did I just experience outside of this container? And now that fish is going to have an awareness that there is something else out there, out of its vision, out of its realm. And I'm doing more serious senior coaching right now to you guys because this is a little bit hard to understand. But in order for you to learn more about yourself, you have to put yourself apart. It's like fixing a watch. If you want to fix a watch, you have to put the watch apart and look at every piece and learn how the pieces work together. So you got to keep on unveiling yourself, keep on putting parts of yourself apart to learn, how do I operate? How do I work? What am I so reactive? Why am I the victim of my life? Because that victimization is a survival mechanism that you created so you can feel safe, you can feel loved, so you can feel confident. But there's a root cause for that survival mechanism. And I know I'm going from the gut to leading to transform your life. This is what I'm passionate about. But once you start to open yourself up and peel those layers, and this is why I love the fascia maneuvers, because the fascia maneuvers help you peel layers of trauma. And when we do the organ reset, all this trauma comes out. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know I was holding all that worry in my bladder. What does that worry even came from? When was I worrying in my life that I created such a profound imprint in my bladder? But the only way to know is to keep on digging, to keep on peeling the layers, because every layer that you peel allows for more self-discovery. And once you start to learn about yourself, you get to catch yourself in those moments that are challenging, in those moments where you just feel victimized, when you feel your pain. But the more that you start to learn about yourself, the more that you say, hey, I'm running this thing when I'm not picked in my life. I feel victimized. But the victimization is the payoff that I get when I'm not picked. And I'll talk about this another time. But I want to thank you guys so much for being here. If you want more information about detoxifying, regenerating, cleansing up to 75% of the glyphosate and the toxins, and regenerating your gut brain, send me message me privately with the word detox, and then I can send you the protocol that I've been on myself for over 6 years. I've been detoxifying, regenerating, killing parasites, rebuilding my gut bacteria. I struggle with depression, anxiety, bloating, inflammation, food sensitivities. I'm Italian, and I couldn't eat tomatoes and I couldn't eat dairy for so long. I couldn't eat chocolate because it was giving me acid reflux. I had to stop drinking coffee because I would get the acid reflux. It was a disaster. That's why I got into this journey of health, because I just said it can't be possible. I'm in my 30s and I can't eat chocolate, I can't eat berries, I can't eat anything, because I was so sensitive to all the foods. I got bloating. My gut would get so bloated, I looked pregnant. I would hear gas moving in my intestines. I literally had to look for everything under the face of the earth on how can I heal myself and what can I do to regenerate my body so I can start enjoying my life again. And this is the program that I've been doing. I love to share with you guys. If you send me the word detox, I can send you more information. All right, everybody, if you are in Florida this weekend, we have our Transforming Trauma in Miami. So please get your tickets, meet us there. It's going to be so much fun. And Florida, I can't wait to go in the warm water. Here, the water in California is cold 24/7. Doesn't matter if it's winter or summer. The ocean is always cold. So I love that. And Gio Pisano, send me a private message, okay? Victoria, thank you so much for being supportive and being here with me this whole hour. Thank you guys. I will see you again next Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. And if you're in Florida, come meet us in our Transforming Trauma event. This is going to be our last event for now. But we're taking a little break. So you can't miss the last chance to meet the core team, to meet Aisha, Jason, Gary, Cynthia, Raw. Everyone's going to be there. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to be there. So come and join us this Sunday in Florida, Miami. Allí estaremos y hablamos español también. Así que si no hablas inglés, no hay problema. Aisha y yo hablamos español y las podemos ayudar con lo que necesiten. And Pam, send me DM. What is your link? Send me a private message. It's Coach Carol. My Instagram is on the bottom, and I can send you the link to the Transforming Trauma. It's also on our Instagram, or Detox if you want more info on how to regenerate your body from toxins and pesticides and glyphosate specifically. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.